Even though it's been a few years since Captain America Civil War came out, the Russo brothers were recently doing the rounds for Avengers Endgame, hyping up the home release, and talked about what they wish they could have fit in there had they had the time. And they specifically talk about the X-Men. Now, I think a lot of you know the story. Originally, Spider-Man was not supposed to be in Captain America Civil War, but as it worked out, things with Sony fell apart and he ended up being part of that project. So the Russo brothers got to introduce him into the MCU along with the writers. Recently, when the Russo brothers were asked about the fact that the Sony deal went through and they could include him, would they have done the same with the X-Men had the Fox deal went through? Now, this time, the Fox deal was still far away. It was still something that was in the rumor stages and nothing was officially moving forward. And they said that had that been complete, they would have doubled the count of heroes and villains in there, adding the X-Men right there. Now, to me, this is one of those things where I'm like, you know, I trust the writers and I trust the directors because they've earned our trust. But the X-Men just suddenly showing up out of nowhere, I think would have been a little hard to pull off. Now, who's to say that maybe had they gotten the X-Men in time, they were thinking, okay, look, maybe Marvel Studios will let us make this a 3-hour film. Then you can dedicate 30 minutes to explaining who the X-Men are, the X-Gene, and everything else. Maybe that could have worked and it would have been the framework of what the writers and Joe and Anthony Russo wanted in there. But at the same time, it feels like it would have been a little bit too congested, honestly, because you're introducing Black Panther for the first time. You're introducing Spider-Man for the first time. Oh, and here's a bunch of teenagers with superpowers and Professor X and maybe Magneto and the Brotherhood. It's like, oh my god, there's so much going on here, right? I think it would have been a lot, and you would have been just coming to this film right off the heels of other X-Men films, so that would have been a very quick reboot. I mean, could they have pulled it off? Maybe. I have no doubt that the Russo brothers could pull it off, but I'm kind of glad that this never went through. I know, some of you might disagree with me. You can always let me know why, but I like Civil War the way we got it. It definitely didn't reflect the comics, but that's for good reason, because we see what the Endgame was, and it was set up for Endgame. Anyways, thanks for watching this video. As always, like, subscribe, notification bell, and if you guys want more content, check out the little join button down below.